Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy again. This is Dill Talk Sports. We're back with another episode. This is going to be weekly talk, kind of talking about March Madness, Jokic's 60-point triple-double, a couple free agency moves I saw in the NFL, some baseball news, and kind of just break down a couple of things of that. Really excited to be back with you guys. A lot of stuff coming up. NBA playoffs starting soon, which I'm really excited for. Baseball just started, which I know for a lot of you guys is awesome. And then NFL, just always keeping in touch with that because we're ready to go. But today, we got the real GOAT on, Michael Jordan. No matter what y'all LeBron people say, he's not better than Michael Jordan, never will be, never was. Steph Curry might be better than LeBron. I think he is. That could be my hot take on this episode is Steph Curry's better than LeBron all the time. I'm living with that. I'm dying on that hill. So let's dive right back. Let's dive right in. We're going to go March Madness first. Go to Jokic's NBA or NFL, kind of throw everything in there and go from there. So, without further ado, March Madness, Sweet 16, Elite 8 was this weekend. Kind of not what anyone expected. It wasn't really March Madness this year. It was more just March basketball. All number one seeds in the Final Four for the first time since 2008, I saw. So, everyone's saying that NIL ruined basketball, this, that, and the other thing. It's 1 year. It happened in 2008. There was no NIL in 2008, so why was it then? It just seems like the top teams are a little bit more stacked this year than usual. With Florida, Duke, Houston, and I don't even know who the other seed is. I feel bad now. And Auburn, of course. So, Sweet 16 happened. One seed's kind of handled business and got it done, kind of exactly what was expected to happen. And then the Elite 8 games is what I'm really going to be talking about here. So started off the week with Florida, Texas Tech. That was a close game. Texas Tech was in the whole game, battled the whole game through, especially after, the thing that happened with Texas Tech when they played Arkansas. I just wanted to make a big comeback and make everyone nervous. But Florida showed that they were a better team. They had a lot of, the ending of that game wasn't crazy. Walter Clayton Jr. went berserk. So shout out Walter Clayton Jr. Florida, for all year I was here in Florida, is no doubt number one team, best team in the country. But, the tournament, if that shows anything, hasn't shown me that they're the best team in the tournament. I think they're probably the worst of the one seeds remaining. They just didn't handle business like everyone else. If it wasn't for Walter Clayton Jr. going on Steph Curry mode and cooking them, they're out of this tournament. Texas Tech's in the Final Four. So, good win for Florida. I think Mike White's the coach, so congrats to him and building his career up. I know he started at Auburn, or maybe not at Auburn, but when Bruce Pearl was a coach, he started in Bruce Pearl. So that was great, to see him build up and to what he is now. So Florida, handle business. Walter Clayton Jr., of course, can always make things happen. Condon's a great player, and we'll see what happens in the next matchup. I'm really curious to see what happens there. So Florida, that's what I got then. Then we had Duke, Alabama. I after what I saw from Alabama in the Sweet 16 round, I thought Alabama could give Duke a chance. But Duke kind of just showed that they're the best team, best number one seed, no question. Cooper Flagg, them boys, Con Newpel, just been cooking. John Shire's doing a great job out there. Shout out John Shire, Illinois born, just as myself. We just produced GOATs, went to Glenbrook North. And battled toe-to-toe with Simeon and Derrick Rose back in the day. So he's a hooper, and he knows what it's like. Everyone was talking about Cooper Flagg can do it against real competition. Cooper Flagg's the truth. The thing with Cooper Flagg is I think he's very much at his kind of as good as he's going to get. I think he's very well-rounded player. He's kind of like a European player in that sense. I feel like he's got a lot of, he's just really basketball savvy, very fundamental, very kind of knows how to do what he does and does everything well. So, excited to see what Duke has to do. I on my bracket on here with y'all, I picked Duke to win the national championship. I still think that's the truth. Everything I've seen from Duke has shown me that they're the best team in college basketball. They stomped on Alabama by 20 points. Alabama, who scored the most threes and scored 116 points in the game before. So, good for Duke on that. And they have 3 losses all year, so they've been the best team all year, no matter what people say. And that was a good win for them. And then in other matchups, we had Houston and Tennessee. Houston was a team that I thought could get surprised based on their previous round in Sweet 16, but Tennessee looked really good. And then, Houston just came out against Tennessee and showed why Houston's a 1 seed and why they're the best team. Kelvin Sampson, man, for what he's done at Houston is, deserves applause. I don't think a lot of people know really what he took over when he started Houston in 2016. I actually saw a video a couple of days ago of him when he going around 2016 telling students like, hey, come to our home basketball game, come to our home opener, because they used to have not a lot of fans. There were a program that was really down in the dumps after being dominant for a while in the 70s and 80s. But Houston just proved why they're a better team. They got great players all around. They're very well coached. Of course, Kelvin Sampson's been here before. So Houston's a team that I wouldn't want to see. I think Houston and Duke are really the two teams that surprise me. Not surprise me, that I think are the best. I mean, Auburn, going to the next game, Auburn, Michigan State, Auburn 70, Michigan State 64. Michigan State was in that game the whole way, battled them the whole way. It's just Auburn outmatched them. Johnny Broom, 25-14. That's a hooper, man. That's a ball player, and Auburn's lucky to have him. In his, I think he's in the graduate or a fifth year. So, all the one seeds really showed out why they're the one seeds this year, and deservingly so why they got it. So, I'm not mad at anything that they did or how that worked, but I think it's gonna be something to see in these matchups against the one seeds. We got to see the matchups. Breaking on the matchups team. So let's see what we got here. So Saturday we got Florida Auburn and Houston Duke. That's tough for me because I wanted it to be Duke Houston National Championship, but beggars can't be choosers. I don't make the brackets. I don't really do anything like that. So both my picks there. I'm going to go with Auburn in the first game, and then I'm going to go Duke in the second game. I just think Duke, again, has been the best team all year. I think Houston's really, really good, and I think Houston is the team that could beat Duke. I think if there's a team that's going to beat Duke, it's going to be the Houston Cougars. Just based on how well they play defense, how much heart they have, how much effort and hustle they play really, really hard, and I think that's a tough thing to get used to, if you're not used to playing it all year. So going with the Duke Blue Devils in that versus Auburn in the national championship game. And then we're going to go Duke. I've said since the tournament started when I broke it down with y'all that Duke is my national champion. I think they're the best team in college basketball. They have probably the best player. I mean, some could argue Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey and Rutgers, who did nothing all year. 2 top 5s in the NBA draft, you do nothing all year. That's just embarrassing. But that's Rutgers. That's not here nor there. We're not talking about that today. We'll break that down some other time. But it's going to be a really good Final Four. I know people want more madness, and it's not all one seeds, but 2008 was the last time it happened. It happens every now and then. I think the top teams in college basketball this year were just that much better. The SEC was talked about a year. They got 2 teams in the Final Four, so it's pretty good for the SEC. But Duke and Houston is going to be a battle. I'm really excited to watch it. Florida and Auburn as well. I think Johnny Broom has been really good all year. I think Auburn is a very good team. Really big team, which is going to be tough to beat. But Florida's also a big team. You got Condon. They got that one dude that's like 7'4", 7'5". So, yeah. But we're going to go Duke-Auburn National Championship. I wish Houston was playing Florida or the opposite way, so I could go with Houston against Duke. But we're going to ride with Duke there and win the National Championship. But we'll give the breakdowns for the Final Four after this weekend and after the National Championship happens. So that's going to be a Tuesday video. But that's college basketball breakdown. That's my 8 minutes of that. Let's dive into the NBA real quick. To talk about Jokic's 60-point triple-double last night. 61-point triple-double. Jokic. Nikola Jokic. For a dude that was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial in the second round to what he is now is honestly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. The dude just wants to play basketball. He wants to play basketball, spend time with his family, and go back to Serbia, ride his horses, and hang with his friends. I mean, if that's not the dream, I don't know what is. I mean, is that not why you make money, so you can do whatever you want, hang with your family, hang with your friends, travel the world, do what you want, do your hobbies, the horses? He wants to horse race his whole life. You don't want to play basketball, but I think that's also a weak analysis of Jokic's game. People say he doesn't want to play basketball. He does want to play. I think people don't realize that he's a killer mentality. He has that Kobe, that whole mentality that all these greats have. He just doesn't outwardly show it, I think. I think he's very humble in himself and confident in himself, but he knows that he's the best player out there every single night. And going back to last night, I mean, 61-point triple-double. They ended up losing that game. A couple bonehead mistakes at the end of that game. I'm sure you guys watch it. Russell Westbrook didn't have to shoot a layup, missed a wide-open layup, and then fouled the guy on the jumper. The foul, you could call it ticky-tack. I mean, it was a foul at the end of the day. I don't know if I'm calling that with the game on the line. It's just like my Colorado State-Maryland argument. I mean, if we're going to call that week stuff, we should have called it travel on Maryland, and Maryland should be out of the tournament. Colorado State should have had a chance. If that's how we're going to do it, if that's what it's going to call, I mean, you know, a bad play by Russ, it happens. You know, sometimes that happens. It's basketball. We're just playing. We're not thinking the whole time. You know, you're just letting your instincts take over, and that's kind of what happened with Russ. So can't blame Russ for what he did, but Jokic, 61-point triple-double. It's crazy what happens when he has 20 free throws. I mean, now all the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander players are MVP voters. Like, oh, there's the foul baiter, there's free throw merchant. I'm like, bro, if Jokic averaged 20 free throws a game, he'd average 50 points a game. I'm not joking. I'm dead ass when I say that he would average 20 points a game or 50 points a game. He's that good and he's that dominant. He can get any shot he wants whenever he wants. He's got a Dirk fadeaway. He's got a splash Larry Bird over. His three-pointers are wet. His touch around the rim is unbelievable. That you can attribute to water polo. I don't know a lot of people know that, but when he was young, he played water polo, which is why you can see him do all the things that he can with the ball. And you know, it was a great battle last night. Nuggets were missing Anthony Edwards. Nuggets were not missing Anthony Edwards because they don't have him. I wish they did, but they were missing Jamal Murray and MPJ. I mean, those are probably the second and third best players on the team. Some may argue Aaron Gordon. I would give you Aaron Gordon because Aaron Gordon has been hooping lately, and Aaron Gordon's a very, very good player. But, you know, it's just a tough loss for the Nuggets. You know, it happens, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see the playoffs. I think the Nuggets can make some noise. We got to be healthy going into playoffs, so, and that's the thing. Let's run through the quick slate of the NBA because actually, let me go back to this. Jokic, 100 million% is the MVP of the NBA. He is having the best historical season of anyone ever. And if the voters and whatever have fatigue or whatever, you know, that's fine. But Jokic is the best player in the NBA, has been for the last 5 years. He should be realistically a 5 straight time MVP. He is the best player on the team. You take Nikola Jokic off the Denver Nuggets, they are a lottery team every single year. I think you put Jokic on the Thunder, they win 70 games. And you take Shai off the Thunder and you put him on the Nuggets, they're probably winning about 30 games. That's what I think. I haven't seen enough from Shai that warrants that he's that good, man. I watched Harden with the foul baiting constantly, but it's worse. Shai does it. I don't know if he does it ignorantly worse or what, but Harden didn't piss me off as much as Shai does with his foul baiting. So, you know, that happens. Jokic should be MVP. He's the best player in the league, and hopefully they get him some more help if they don't win again this year, or at least make the finals, because I think he's kind of getting fed up. I saw Giannis wants out of Milwaukee, which would be a big pickup for the Nuggets. They could get him. I'd take KD. I think KD would be a great – I think KD would be the best addition to the Nuggets. You know, a shooter, a wing that's that good and that talented. People say he's old, whatever. He's a beast, man. He's still good. The Suns have always been the Suns. They sacrificed all their young core for, you know, the Flash, and that just proves that Flash isn't always the best way to build a basketball team. You know, they had a young Mikal Bridges who was very good. Ayton, you know, he might not live up to that number one overall pick, but Ayton's a very, very good player, and he's a role player, and he knows exactly what he's doing. They had a bunch of other role players that they got rid of for Bradley Beal, and Bradley Beal doesn't even play anymore. So I always thought D-Book was, you know, he rises with his team. He's not going to elevate the team. I mean, look at the Suns before he got there, or before the help got there. They were a lottery-level team every year. So that's what I think about that. So breaking down the games, we had Bulls-Raptors. Bulls kind of handled that game. The Bulls, since they got rid of DeMar and Zach LaVine, have actually been playing a lot better. I just think they play better as a team. I mean, Montez Bucelis, I don't know how he felt at Chicago at whatever number he did, but that dude was going to be a number one overall pick. He's starting to develop and turn into the player I thought he could be. Josh Giddey, you know, he didn't get enough love. Everyone thought they finessed him on the Caruso trade. Actually, the Bulls finessed the Thunder. Giddey's a great player. You know, he's a great point guard. You know, he's still young. I think he's like 21, 22. So still really developing the league, but starting to find his rhythm. Kobe White, now that he's, you know, kind of has a more first option role, is really hooping and been a great hooper this year. So, you know, I think the Bulls are actually have made some right decisions after many terrible decisions. But we'll see what happens with the Bulls. I'm excited to see what happens with them. Trailblazers, Hawks, you know, I whatever. Knicks and Sixers, you know, Bucks, Suns. That was a close game the whole time. Bucks kind of pulled away. Giannis still the best player on that court every day. Really good player. Magic won, and then the Warriors. You know, the Warriors I think are a team that are dangerous in the playoffs. I hope the Warriors play the Lakers first round because I think the Warriors upset them. People might not say it's something, but it would be. Steph Curry is probably shooting the best he has his whole career, which is crazy to say because he's always been a sniper. But he is on another level right now, man. And the fact that they got Jimmy Butler and now they're 18-2 with Jimmy Butler in the starting lineup, 18-2 since they got Jimmy Butler. And for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Butler's a riser in the playoffs. He plays much better. I mean, he led the Heat team to 2 finals. They didn't win either, but you could say that that's impressive nonetheless. With Milwaukee out there and all these teams out there, Celtics, of course. I think the Warriors are a force to be reckoned with in the West. They're almost make me more nervous than any other team that the Nuggets would face. I mean, the Clippers with a healthy Kawhi and Harden, I think that could be a dangerous team. I mean, Kawhi healthy in the playoffs, it's asking a lot, but if he's healthy, that's a really, really good team. Kawhi Leonard's a great player, always has been. James Harden, people say he's a choker in the playoffs. Yeah, his levels might dip because he's not getting many fouls, but he still impacts the game a lot. Of course, he has bad games here and there, and they just get talked about more than they should. But I think that's a really good team too. I'm not as afraid of the Lakers. I mean, Austin Reeves is proven to be the best third option in the NBA. Everyone is screaming LeBron had no help. LeBron had no help, and now Austin Reeves is a GOAT, and he is Luka. So, besides my thoughts with LeBron, I just don't think the Lakers are as good of a team as a lot of these teams. They just don't have the camaraderie and the chemistry, I think, that a lot of the other top teams in the league do. So, really excited to see what happens in the playoffs, which I know starts soon. And then going to the NFL, quick rundown. I saw the Bulls. Bulls. Wow, now we're back in the Chicago. But Chicago. So the Bears. I saw the Bears thinking about moving their stadium out of the city to Arlington Heights. I hate the decision. I think it's a terrible decision. I respect they want a new stadium because they don't own their stadium and they're losing a lot of revenue based on that fact. But they are the Chicago Bears. They've always been on the lakefront, and they should be. I think the Arlington Heights move is just kind of a money grab and bureaucracy shit that always happens. So we'll see what happens there. But I like the Bears moves they made this offseason. They got Caleb a lot of help with all the, Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson, and one more. They got him a lot of O-line help. So hopefully that O-line's better. The only thing is those are all interior line. We need tackles. I know Nate Davis was kind of developing last year, and they got some development coming on the tackles, but we just need to play decent. And I think the Bears could make some noise. I don't know what's going to happen with Keenan Allen, but I think that means Rome Odunze could stand, step up, and he will. He's a great player. And DJ Moore, of course, is top 5 receiver in the NFL. People don't want to admit it, but he is. And then we'll dive to Russell Wilson with the Giants. Giants signed Russell Wilson after they signed Jameis Winston. I don't really understand that move. I think at this point in their career, I'm almost taking Jameis Winston over Russell Wilson. Maybe that's crazy to me. Maybe it is. But and they have the second pick. So what are they going to do? Are they going to draft a Shedeur or a Cam Ward type of thing and then let him develop? Which I also think for Cam Ward and Shedeur, that's probably the best possible scenario that they could have. I think too many times they draft quarterbacks and we rush them into this and make them, go through the rookie bumps and stuff like that. But why not? Why not let them sit and learn a little bit, Aaron Rodgers is a perfect example of sitting for a couple of years, and now he's a top 5 quarterback ever. I'd say top 3 quarterback ever, just talent-wise and GOAT-wise. But going to Aaron Rodgers, we'll see I don't know what he's going to happen with the year in the league. I think he's going to come back. People say he's going to retire. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he has more to prove. I think at the end of last year, if you watch the Jets games, they actually started to play a lot better. His Achilles started to actually probably feel better. I mean, it takes a lot longer than a year to get back from the Achilles and feel completely trustworthy and healthy on it, especially at 40 years old. So I think Aaron Rodgers I think to make the Favre destiny happen, he's got to go to the Vikings. I mean, Favre did the same thing. Packers, Jets, Vikings. It needs to happen for Aaron Rodgers. I think the Vikings with Aaron Rodgers are a Super Bowl winning team. I'm not sold on J.J. McCarthy. I haven't been ever since he was in college. I think he was just a proponent of a really, really good team. I think in that national championship game they won, he threw like 10 times. That doesn't prove to me that he's a winning quarterback. I mean, could he win? Could he do the things? Yeah. Is he going to carry a team? I would say not. I don't have any film on him in the NFL yet, so I couldn't tell you this or that, but that's just based on my experience and what I've seen. So going back to the Giants with Jameis, I think Jameis, should get that starting job. I really do. I think Russ is a mentor more at this point and give Jameis a chance. So we're putting Russ in there, and it's just kind of how my thought process on the whole thing. So with the Jets, I saw they signed Justin Fields. For Justin Fields, I don't know if that's the right move because the Jets have been a dumpster fire for how long, and I don't know if it's going to help revive his career. But I think Justin Fields is a quarterback that could be starting in the NFL. I think the Jets are probably the wrong place for him to go to develop even more, but we'll see what happens there. I've always loved Fields. I loved him when he was in Chicago. I think he's a really humble dude and just one of the best for Chicago. He might not kill you with his arm, but he's a running machine. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar's gotten better with his arm over the years, but for the beginning of his career, they let him run around a lot and do kind of what Fields does and win games by doing that. So I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but, I'm not the GM and I'm not Justin Fields. So we'll see what happens there. And that's just a quick breakdown of the NFL when it gets close to the season, when they get more moves, free agency moves, we'll break it down even more. But let's hop into baseball real quick and the torpedo bat question. People are acting like, it shouldn't be how they are, and it's unfair that the Yankees did this. But what's unfair about it? They hired an engineer and they made a better decision or a better bat. There's nothing illegal about it. There's no metal in it. There's nothing illegal about it. They just put more wood where the ball hits the bat. So the Yankees started off the season 4-0, and I think they lost yesterday for the first time. Dodgers are undefeated still, of course, but MLB to me needs a salary cap, man. It can't be every single year just Dodgers, Yankees, Mets just outspending everyone and just winning games. It's just very unfun and very it doesn't seem like there's a lot of parity anymore. Shohei going to the Dodgers was really weak to me. I really liked Shohei before he left, and then he kind of just jumped ship to easy championship with better players. So Dodgers, we'll see if they go back to back. Again, it's hard in baseball to go back to back. The Dodgers have a history of kind of choking a little bit. So really excited to see what happens there. But Yankees, started off really good this year. Aaron Judge, of course, always on a tear, and Bellinger and all these players. They got a bunch of good players around. The pitching needs to continue to stay well, and with that. So MLB is great. And then NHL players are coming up. Been to a few Devils games here lately. Blackhawks, of course, are just terrible. Wish they were better because I love the Blackhawks, but just terrible. Really excited to dive into my breakdown of the NHL playoffs when I see the bracket and kind of what happens there. But shout out Alexander Ovechkin. I think he's now 4 goals away from the record set by Wayne Gretzky, which a lot of people never thought would be broken. Alex Ovechkin, got that ring a couple of years ago, which I really am happy for him because I don't think he got the respect that he deserved based on how good of a hockey player he is. And he's just a really chill dude based on, videos I've seen of him doing Twitch and streaming and all this kind of stuff. So really excited to see what happens there. I wish the Avalanche will do something. I think they will. They have McKinnon still the best player in the league, and Cal McCarr's a bully as well. So really excited. Everything's coming up. The playoffs for NHL and NBA, which are 2 of my favorite playoffs. Besides March Madness and NFL, but all up there, really, really good with that, and excited to see a great bunch of sports coming up here soon. So that was our weekly Dill Talk Sports. I am Dill, as my friends would call me, but really appreciate everyone joining along. I'm just continuing to do this video because it's something I'm really passionate about and really want to make my career just talk about sports. I got a lot of sports knowledge. I'm a sports encyclopedia. I do a lot of things like that. My friends all come to me for sports information and stuff like that, and I kind of pride myself on knowing a lot about it. So really appreciate everyone joining along. Hope everyone is having a great time and ready and spring is sprung and the weather's great, and you guys are continuing to chase after your dreams, and I just appreciate y'all. God bless and have a great day. Deuces.